This photograph captures a Japanese customs official from 1954. It's a face representing the strict, mechanical environment of Tokyo's Haneda Airport after the war. In this building, identity and geography were governed by ironclad rules. You either existed on paper, or you didn't exist at all. On a humid summer day, a well-dressed European businessman stepped up to one of these counters. He looked completely ordinary. He answered the standard questions calmly, stating he was in Japan for a routine corporate trip. But then he handed over his identification. It was a thick, authentic-looking leather passport. Embossed in gold across the front was the name of his home country, Taured, a nation that appeared in absolutely zero global databases. The document was filled with meticulously stamped entry and exit visas. These pages documented a 5-year history of legitimate travel through Paris, London, and Tokyo. He also carried a driver's license from Taured. His briefcase held bank statements, international currency, and signed business contracts. Every single piece of paper was physically real, deeply detailed, and entirely consistent. The presence of these tangible artifacts forces a difficult choice. Either an anonymous man orchestrated a flawlessly coordinated, highly expensive international fraud for no obvious reason, or he was a physical anomaly walking out of a world that shouldn't be. The authorities quickly moved him to a sterile interrogation room. Up until this point, the traveler had been polite, but as the questioning continued, his calm demeanor gave way to genuine, bewildered frustration. He couldn't understand why these officials had never heard of his home. Trying to break the stalemate, the interrogators laid a world map across the table. They told the man to prove his story and point to Taured. Looking at this map, the traveler didn't hesitate. He tapped a tiny section of the Pyrenees Mountains, right on the border between France and Spain. But as he looked closer, his confidence shattered. The map labeled his homeland as Andorra. He insisted that Taured had existed in that exact location as a sovereign nation for over 1,000 years. He had never heard the word Andorra in his life. The geographical dispute grounded itself in the physical stone and dirt of the Pyrenees. Two histories were suddenly claiming the exact same coordinates on Earth. Unsure of how to process a man with impossible documents, the authorities detained him for the night. They placed him in a high-rise hotel room while they attempted to verify his corporate contacts. They took zero chances. Armed guards were stationed directly outside the only door. As you can see from a window like this, escaping meant surviving a fatal multi-story drop into a dark Tokyo street. The next morning, the officers unlocked the door to resume their questioning. The room was empty. There were no signs of a struggle. The windows remained locked from the inside. And it wasn't just the man who was missing. His passport, his banknotes, and his briefcase were entirely gone. A typical jailbreak leaves a trail, a broken lock, a witness, or a discarded tool. This room offered nothing. The guards remained at their posts, the door stayed locked, and every impossible document vanished alongside the traveler. For decades, researchers have combed through Japanese police records and Haneda airport logs, desperate to find a single official trace of the 1954 incident. They found nothing. There is no customs report, no arrest record, and no authentic newspaper article from 1954 that verifies a man from Taured ever existed. Even the supposed proof circulating online falls apart under scrutiny. Take a look at these document stamps, often linked to the case. They are clearly dated 1956 and 1957, which makes them chronologically impossible for a story set in 1954. The total absence of historical records suggests the universe didn't just remove the man from that hotel room, it seemingly scrubbed the memory of his arrival from our history books entirely. This leaves the theory of a dimensional slip, a momentary crossing between two nearly identical versions of Earth, a world where history took a slightly different path. The geography is the same, the people are the same, but the lines on the map and the symbols on the currency belong to a timeline we never saw. In this scenario, the vanishing was the reality stream correcting a glitch. Once detected, the system snapped the traveler back to his original timeline. If these invisible borders between worlds exist, we have no way of measuring them. We only know that someone, somewhere, accidentally crossed one. and it forces you to wonder how many travelers are sitting in interrogation rooms right now, waiting for the universe to pull them back home.